Right now, someone is telling you exactly what they're thinking about you. They're broadcasting their interest, their attraction, their discomfort, their lies. But they're not using words. And if you can't read the signals, you're missing everything. Here's what most people don't understand. Body language isn't just about attraction, it's about power. It's about reading intentions before they become actions. It's about seeing what people are desperately trying to hide. Women, specifically, have evolved a sophisticated nonverbal communication system that most men completely miss. Not because it's invisible, but because nobody taught you how to see it. In the next hour, I'm going to reveal the psychological secrets behind female body language that will completely change how you interact with the world. You'll learn to read the micro-expressions that reveal true interest versus polite rejection, the power dynamics being established in every conversation, the unconscious signals of attraction that happen before conscious awareness, the defensive body language that screams, "back off," even when words say, "I'm fine," the deception tells that reveal when you're being manipulated. This isn't pickup artist nonsense. This is behavioral psychology, evolutionary biology, and social dynamics combined. By the end of this video, you'll see what's invisible to 99% of people. Let's decode the signals. Part 1. The evolutionary foundation. Before we dive into specific signals, you need to understand why female body language evolved the way it did. For hundreds of thousands of years, women faced a unique survival challenge. They needed to assess potential threats and opportunities without directly confronting them. Direct confrontation could be dangerous. Indirect communication became a survival skill. This created what psychologists call high-context communication, where the majority of meaning is transmitted non-verbally rather than through explicit words. Men, evolutionarily, developed more direct communication because physical confrontation and explicit dominance displays were part of male competition. Women developed subtlety because indirect influence and social intelligence were their primary tools for safety and resource acquisition. This is why women are statistically better at reading facial expressions, detecting emotional nuance, and picking up on social cues. It's not cultural conditioning, it's evolutionary adaptation that's been reinforced by culture. Understanding this foundation changes everything, because it means when a woman's body language contradicts her words, the body language is usually the truth. Her conscious mind might be saying one thing for social reasons, but her unconscious body is broadcasting her authentic response. Now, here's the critical distinction most people miss. You're not trying to catch her lying or trick her into revealing interest. You're trying to understand her genuine comfort level, her authentic emotional state, and her true intentions. This skill isn't about manipulation. It's about emotional intelligence and social awareness. Let's break down the 5 major categories of female body language: proximity and spatial dynamics, facial expressions and micro-expressions, postural signals and barriers, touch and self-soothing behaviors, and vocal tonality and paralinguistics. Each category reveals different information. Master all 5 and you're reading the complete message. Part 2. Proximity and spatial dynamics. The first and most powerful signal is space. How close is she to you? How is she orienting her body? Edward T. Hall, the anthropologist who founded proxemics, the study of personal space, identified 4 distance zones. Intimate distance, 0 to 18 inches, reserved for close relationships, romantic partners. Personal distance, 18 inches to 4 feet, friends and comfortable social interactions. Social distance, 4 to 12 feet, acquaintances and professional interactions. Public distance, 12 plus feet, formal settings and strangers. Here's what you need to watch for: the approach signal. If she consistently positions herself within your personal space, closer than 4 feet, when she has other options, that's significant. She's choosing proximity. This is especially telling in situations where she doesn't have to be close, at a party, in a group, during a break. The lean. Watch her torso orientation. Is she leaning toward you or away? Leaning in shows engagement and interest. Leaning back creates distance and suggests discomfort or disengagement. This happens unconsciously. Her body moves toward what attracts it and away from what repels it. The barrier removal. Notice what's between you. Does she place objects like a phone, bag, or drink as barriers between you, or does she clear the space? Removing barriers is an unconscious signal of openness. Creating barriers is defensive. The pivot. This is huge. When someone is genuinely interested in a conversation, their torso and feet point directly toward you. If her feet or hips are angled away, even while her head is turned toward you, she's mentally checked out or looking for an exit. Her body is already leaving even if she's still being polite. The follow. In group settings, does she position herself near you when the group relocates? Does she mirror your movements through space? Unconscious following and positioning is a strong indicator of interest and comfort. But, and this is important, some people consciously mirror as a manipulation technique. So look for natural, slightly delayed mirroring, not immediate obvious copying. Part 3. Facial expressions and micro-expressions. The face is the most information-dense source of nonverbal communication. Paul Ekman's research identified 7 universal facial expressions: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, disgust, surprise, and contempt. But the real secrets are in the micro-expressions, facial movements lasting less than half a second that reveal genuine emotions before they're masked by social expressions. The genuine smile test. This is critical. A fake smile uses only the mouth muscles. A genuine smile, called a Duchenne smile, engages the orbicularis oculi muscles around the eyes, creating crow's feet wrinkles. When she smiles at you, look at her eyes. Are they crinkling? Are the cheeks raising? If yes, the smile is genuine. If it's just mouth movement, she's being polite but not genuinely pleased. Eye contact patterns. This is complex because the meaning changes with duration and context. Brief glance away, normal, comfortable. Prolonged staring, either intense interest or aggression or challenge. Context determines which. Looking down after eye contact, submission or shyness signal, often associated with attraction in early interactions. Looking away horizontally, disinterest or searching for escape. Looking up and away, accessing memory or thinking, not necessarily negative. Rapid blinking, stress, anxiety, or attraction. Arousal increases blink rate. The pattern matters more than individual glances. Is she maintaining 60 to 70% eye contact during conversation? That's the norm for engaged interaction. Significantly more suggests intense interest or confrontation. Significantly less suggests discomfort, disinterest, or deception. Pupil dilation. This one requires close observation, but it's powerful. Pupils dilate unconsciously in response to arousal, whether from attraction, interest, or fear. In consistent lighting, if her pupils are dilated while looking at you, her nervous system is activated. This is pure autonomic response. She can't fake it. Lip behaviors. Lip biting, self-soothing behavior indicating nervousness or, in some contexts, attraction. Lip licking can indicate nervousness, attraction, or just dry lips. Context matters. Pursed lips, disagreement, suppressed opinion, or disapproval. Parted lips, relaxation, surprise, or attraction. The eyebrow flash. When we see someone we're pleased to see, our eyebrows raise quickly for about 1/6 of a second. It's universal across cultures. If you get the eyebrow flash, you've registered positively. Nostril flare. Subtle but significant. Nostrils flare when we're aroused, angry, or preparing for physical action. In consistent lighting, if her pupils are dilated while looking at you, her nervous system is activated. This is pure autonomic response. She can't fake it. Micro-expression clusters. Here's the advanced technique. Read clusters, not individual signals. A micro-expression of fear, widened eyes, raised eyebrows, and open mouth, followed by a forced smile, tells you she felt afraid but is trying to appear fine. That's crucial information. The masked affect. Watch for expressions that flash and then get covered. If anger flickers across her face for a fraction of a second before she smiles, you've seen her true response before social filtering kicked in. Practice this. Watch videos with sound off. Focus entirely on faces. You'll start seeing emotions before they're verbalized. This is the skill that makes you socially dangerous. You'll know what people feel before they finish deciding how to present it. Part 4. Postural signals and barriers. Posture reveals confidence, dominance, submission, openness, and defensiveness. It's the macro-level signal that frames all other body language. Open versus closed posture. Open posture, arms uncrossed, legs uncrossed, torso exposed, palms visible, expansive. Closed posture, arms crossed, legs crossed, body turned away, defensive, low confidence. The interpretation is open posture signals comfort, confidence, and receptivity. Closed posture signals discomfort, defensiveness, or low confidence. But, and this is huge, don't oversimplify. Crossed arms might just mean she's cold. Crossed legs might just be comfortable. Look for clusters and context. The real tell is, does she open up as the interaction progresses or close down? If she starts closed and gradually opens up, you're building rapport. If she starts open and gradually closes down, you're losing her. Power posing. Amy Cuddy's research, though controversial in replication, highlighted how posture affects both how others perceive us and how we feel about ourselves. High power poses, taking up space, expansive, open. Low power poses, contracted, protective, small. Watch who takes up space. In meetings, does she spread her materials, lean back confidently, or does she make herself small? This reveals her comfort with claiming power in that context. The head tilt. This is fascinating. Tilting the head exposes the neck, a vulnerable area. It's a submissive or receptive signal. In attraction contexts, women unconsciously tilt their heads when interested. In social contexts, it signals "I'm listening" and non-threatening presence. But combined with direct eye contact, a head tilt can also be a confused or skeptical signal. Are you serious? The shoulder shrug indicates uncertainty, ambivalence, or I don't know, often accompanied by turned-up palms. If you ask a direct question and get a shoulder shrug, she's genuinely uncertain or doesn't want to commit to an answer. Barrier behaviors. Holding a drink or phone in front of the chest, creating a barrier. Bag placed in lap or held in front, barrier and protection. Arms crossed high on the chest, strong defensive posture. Hand to throat, protecting a vulnerable area, indicates insecurity or threat. The ventral denial. When someone turns their front away from you, showing you their side or back, it's called ventral denial. The ventral or front surface of the body is vulnerable. We expose it to people we trust and hide it from people we don't. Preening behaviors. These are self-grooming behaviors that often indicate interest in how she's being perceived. Adjusting hair, smoothing clothing, checking appearance, applying lipstick. Context matters. Is she preening while interacting with you or when she sees someone else? The target of the preening reveals the target of the interest. The leg cross direction. Some body language experts claim that if a woman crosses her legs towards you, it's interest, and away from you is rejection. The research on this is mixed. What is clear is uncrossed legs in your presence show comfort. Tightly crossed and tense legs show discomfort. The ankle lock. Crossed ankles, especially when combined with hands gripping the chair or each other, indicate holding back, suppressing emotion or nervousness. It's a self-restraint gesture. Torso direction. This is your most reliable postural signal. The torso points towards what we're interested in. Forget where the head is looking. Where is the chest pointing? That's the genuine interest. The expansion space test. In a seated conversation, does she expand into the space, leaning forward, gesturing widely, taking up more room? Expansion indicates comfort and engagement. Contraction indicates discomfort or desire to disappear. Part 5. Touch and self-soothing behaviors. Touch is the most intimate form of nonverbal communication. Even the smallest touch communicates volumes. The touch ladder. Desmond Morris identified a progression of touch intimacy. Hand to hand, arm to shoulder, arm to waist, face to face, hand to head, hand to body. Each level represents increasing intimacy. If someone skips steps or moves faster than comfort allows, it creates tension. Initiated versus received touch. Who initiates touch matters. If she initiates casual touch, touching your arm while talking, brushing against you, finding excuses for brief contact, that's a significant signal of comfort and possible attraction. But cultural context again. Some cultures are highly tactile. Some are touch averse. Know the baseline. The touch duration test. Brief, fleeting touches are different from sustained contact. A hand that rests on your arm for several seconds rather than a quick tap communicates much more investment. Self-touch and pacifying behaviors. These are self-soothing gestures people do unconsciously when stressed, nervous, or uncomfortable. Neck touching, stroking, or covering the neck indicates stress or vulnerability. Face touching, especially covering the mouth, indicates discomfort with what's being said, either by them or to them. Arm rubbing, self-soothing, creating comfort through self-touch. Nail biting, anxiety, stress, nervousness. Hair twirling can be self-soothing or can be preening or flirtation. Context determines which. Jewelry fiddling, nervous energy, discomfort, or boredom. Here's the key insight. An increase in self-soothing behaviors indicates increased stress. If she's calm at the start of a conversation and gradually increases self-touching, something in the interaction is causing discomfort. The ventral touch, touching her own neck, chest, or torso, can indicate either vulnerability and nervousness or drawing attention to these areas, flirtation. The difference is in the other signals. Is her body language otherwise open and engaged? Likely flirtation. Is it closed and tense? Likely stress. The barrier touch. Touching objects between you, adjusting something on the table, moving her drink, can be unconscious barrier reinforcement. Displaced touch. Sometimes people touch objects as a displacement for wanting to touch a person. Stroking a wine glass stem, caressing fabric, these can indicate sensory or tactile desire that's being redirected. Mutual touch reciprocation. If you initiate appropriate touch, like a hand on the shoulder, and she reciprocates with similar touch, there's mutual comfort. If she freezes, pulls back, or doesn't reciprocate, she's not comfortable with that level of contact. The hand presentation. How does she present her hands? Palms up, openness, honesty, submission. Palms down, authority, dominance. Hands hidden, concealment, discomfort. Steepled fingers, confidence, authority, though sometimes arrogance. The handshake analysis. In professional contexts, a firm handshake, confidence, professionalism. A limp handshake, submission, discomfort, or cultural norm. Two-handed handshake, an attempt to convey warmth, can be genuine or manipulative. Hand to wrist or hand to elbow touch during handshake, an attempt to establish dominance or false intimacy. The fake touch. In professional or formal settings, some people use touch strategically to create false intimacy or exert dominance. A hand on your back that guides you, a shoulder touch that seems warm but is really about control. The difference is, does the touch create mutual comfort or does it establish a power dynamic? Part 6. Vocal tonality and paralinguistics. Body language isn't just visual. The voice carries as much information as posture or facial expressions. Paralinguistics is everything about speech except the actual words: tone, pitch, volume, pace, rhythm, pauses, and vocal quality. Pitch changes: higher pitch, excitement, stress, or submission; lower pitch, authority, confidence, or sadness; pitch rising at the end of statements, uncertainty, seeking approval, uptalk. Women's voices unconsciously rise in pitch when talking to men they find attractive. It's a fertility signal. Higher pitch is associated with higher estrogen levels. Conversely, they lower pitch when talking to other women in competitive scenarios. Volume signals: loud, confidence, dominance, or compensating for insecurity; soft, intimacy, submission or lack of confidence. Volume increasing, rising emotion, losing control. Volume decreasing, withdrawing, losing confidence or creating intimacy. Pace and rhythm. Fast speech, excitement, anxiety, or high energy. Slow speech, thoughtfulness, sadness, or deliberate persuasion. Rhythmic speech, confidence and practiced delivery. Arrhythmic speech, nervousness or deception. Strategic pauses. Confident speakers use pauses for emphasis. Nervous speakers rush through without pause. If she's comfortable enough to pause, hold silence, and not rush to fill every gap, she's comfortable in the interaction. The laughter analysis. How and when does she laugh? Genuine laugh, involuntary, affects whole face, hard to fake. Polite laugh, brief, controlled, doesn't reach the eyes. Nervous laugh, filling awkward silence, managing discomfort. Flirtatious laugh, combined with eye contact, touch, openness. Laughter frequency and quality is one of the strongest indicators of comfort and rapport. The verbal mirroring. Just like physical mirroring, people unconsciously match speech patterns when rapport is high. Does her pace, pitch, and word choice start matching yours? That's deep rapport. The sigh. Different types of sighs mean different things. Deep, releasing sigh, relief, letting go of tension. Short, clipped sigh, frustration, impatience. Sigh before speaking, preparing to say something difficult. Vocal quality changes. Breathy voice, intimacy, attraction, or nervousness. Tight voice, stress, anger, holding back emotion. Nasal voice can indicate contempt or disgust. Warm, resonant voice, relaxation, comfort, openness. The deception indicators. When people lie, vocal changes often include higher pitch, stress, increased speech errors, more hesitations, longer pauses before answering, less vocal variation, more monotone due to cognitive load. But, and this is critical, none of these alone prove deception. They prove stress. The stress could be from lying or from being suspected of lying. Part 7. Context, clusters, and calibration. Everything we've discussed is useless if you don't understand 3 critical principles. 1. Context is everything. A crossed arm in a cold room is different from crossed arms after you said something offensive. A smile at a comedy show is different from a smile during a difficult conversation. Body language doesn't exist in a vacuum. The physical environment, social setting, relationship dynamic, cultural background, and immediate conversation all provide context that determines meaning. Never interpret a signal in isolation. 2. Read clusters, not single signals. One signal is ambiguous. 3 signals pointing in the same direction is a pattern. If she has closed posture, arms crossed, feet pointing away, minimal eye contact, flat vocal tone, increasing self-soothing behaviors, that cluster communicates discomfort far more reliably than any single element. 3. Establish baseline behavior. Everyone has different default body language. Some people naturally maintain less eye contact. Some are naturally more tactile. Some have resting expressions that look angry or disinterested. You can't interpret changes unless you know the baseline. Watch how she interacts with others. How does she stand normally? How much does she typically gesture? What's her default facial expression? Then watch how she differs from that baseline when interacting with you. The deviation from baseline is the signal. Advanced technique, the incongruity detection. The most powerful reading comes from noticing when channels don't match. Smiling face but closed body posture, positive words but negative vocal tone, open gestures but feet pointing away. Incongruity between channels usually means the conscious channel, words, deliberate facial expressions, is lying, and the unconscious channel, posture, feet direction, micro-expressions, is telling the truth. The adaptation pattern, watch how body language evolves over time. Does she open up as the interaction progresses, building rapport? Does she close down, losing interest or becoming uncomfortable? Does she stay consistently open, strong initial comfort? Does she stay consistently closed, fundamental discomfort or disinterest? Cultural calibration. Every culture has different norms for appropriate interpersonal distance, amount of eye contact, touch frequency, emotional expressiveness, and power distance. Don't apply Western norms universally. Research cultural differences or ask people from different backgrounds about their norms. Individual variation. Beyond culture, individuals vary. Introverts show different baseline body language than extroverts. People with social anxiety, autism spectrum conditions, or trauma histories may display body language that doesn't match typical interpretations. Don't assume. Observe patterns over time. You now know more about reading female body language than 99% of people. This is powerful knowledge. With power comes responsibility. This skill is not for manipulation. It's not for ignoring clear verbal boundaries because you think her body language says something different. It's for understanding genuine comfort and discomfort so you can adjust your behavior to make others comfortable. For detecting deception so you can protect yourself from manipulation. For building deeper rapport by responding to genuine emotional states rather than just words. For improving communication by addressing what's really being communicated. For developing empathy by becoming more attuned to others' emotional experiences. Here's the critical rule. Verbal no always overrides positive body language. If someone says they're not interested, they don't want to continue, they need space, those words are the boundary. Don't body language read your way past consent. But you can use these skills to notice when someone is uncomfortable and give them space before they have to ask, to detect when someone is interested but nervous and create safety, to understand when words are hiding pain and offer support, to see through manipulation and protect yourself, to build authentic connections based on genuine mutual comfort. The master of body language reading uses it to make others more comfortable, not less, to create better connections, not to exploit them. This is Behind the Mind. If this video transformed how you see human interaction, hit that like button and subscribe for more explorations into the hidden psychology that governs human behavior. Remember, you're not reading body language to control people, you're reading it to understand them. Use this power wisely.